Welcome to Bea TV, Becoming Everything You Are, sponsored by Raytheon Technologies, and I'm your host, Marcia Jews. During the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference, I've assisted participants in unearthing their stellar achievements in STEM excellence with the goal of revealing their career and advancing brilliance of STEM essence. Bea STEM Conference is the place where trailblazing STEM professionals turn their STEM story into STEM stardom. And now, please welcome our next guest.
Hi, I am Anike Sakariyawo, the founding executive director for S.E.E.K Foundation, which stands for Seeking Education Empowers Knowledge. There are many interesting things about myself, but I'll go ahead and share one. I love to engage in adventurous activities that range from skydiving, parasailing, hang gliding, etc.
Oh, I love it. And you want to get up and skydiving and do parasail. Okay, Anike, what is that to want to be, to do all of these things? Girl, I'm loving it.
So I said, you know what? I see a lot of people jumping out of the plane. And, you know, as a kid, I always had these amazing, I want to say adventurous stories. So let me try something adventurous in real life. And I woke up one morning, I said, you know what? I'm going to go down south, which is in Homestead in Miami, Florida. And I am going to go skydiving on my birthday by myself at 6:30 in the morning. So that's what I did. And I survived it. So I knew I can do anything with the grace of God, because he said, it's not your time to go yet. So.
Right. So there you have it.
So, yeah.
I love it. So, you know, you are the founder of S.E.E.K Foundation, Inc. And can you tell us about S.E.E.K and what that stands for and why it's important and why you created it?
Absolutely. So there's 4 things. I'll make sure I stay on task, because sometimes I can go on a tangent to Hawaii.
That's okay. I can reel you back. Thank
you. Thank you. I need that positive reinforcement. So S.E.E.K Foundation stands for Seeking Education Empowers Knowledge, because I believe that education, knowledge can take you anywhere you want to be in the world, and it can definitely empower you with whatever journey that you're going on or have been through. And so I started the nonprofit based on my own experience as an educator, seeing the disparities when it comes to STEM. And also, you know, I hear the term where people say, oh, we want to close the disparity gap for minorities, mainly children of color, Black and brown kids, by exposing them to more STEM. But then when I see a lot of the STEM materials, it's not what is seen in the practical world. So I started that while I was teaching, like, okay, I really want these student scores to increase. How can I get them to increase in, you know, properties of matter? Oh, let's make some lip balm and learn physical and chemical changes. Let's make some lotion and learn about viscosity. And from there, S.E.E.K metamorphed into me starting the nonprofit, serving kids ages 5 through 18 in cohorts of elementary, middle school, and high school, Monday through Friday. And we're based out of Miami, and we work in Atlanta, and we just started in DC this month. And so we service STEM/STEAM education in 3 pillars, which is health and fitness. We teach kids how to grow their own food hydroponically, and they also have an annual Kids Get Hip and Fit fair. And then we also have community service, where they make all kinds of things on the weekend to engage the parents. And it's kind of like a STEM day party where we have the DJs, the kids get to talk on the mic. They may show their parents how they made these different items. And then we also, of course, have STEM/STEAM education. And so those are the 3 pillars on how S.E.E.K became. And it was based on my experience as an educator of 15 years, seeing the disparity, and also understanding if we want our kids to be the next, you know, not Jeff Bezos, but to have that kind of interruption with the world, with technology, you have to start them off early, because they all started early in STEM and our STEAM.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And you just got it all in 2 sentences, maybe a
I tried
paragraph.
my best. It's a lot, because
I do it very well.
Yeah.
You've been practicing.
I get this question all the time. So, and it's my story. So I kind of try to shorten it a little bit because I can't be long-winded.
Yes, but that's all right because
Mhm.
what you're saying is worth every moment that you speak. And
Obviously.
I think it's really powerful because you're talking about, excuse me, ages 5 to 18. So that's
Mhm.
the whole spectrum of elementary, middle, and high school,
Yes.
right?
It's hard to narrow it down because I mean, most people find their niche, but for me it's like, okay, I was teaching high school, I also taught elementary, and in high school I would do robotics like we do that now. We partner with high schools at the schools and do robotics, and we have a few to come to the recreational centers. But then there's the babies too. Like we have a lot of elementary kids that will come on Saturdays with their parents, and they wanted something during the week, so it's kind of hard to just pick one group. So we have teachers for the different ages where we offer during the weekday, maybe second through eighth grade, and we have two different cohorts in the ninth through 12th graders there at the school sites. So
That's huge though. The reality is that our young people, we've had folks on today
mhm,
talking about what they're doing in their communities. What I didn't hear until you came on was that you're literally from elementary to the end of high school.
mhm,
So we're going to get you as soon as you can learn how to speak and walk,
mhm,
and then we're going to show you how to walk into college.
mhm. And yep, that's exactly what we're doing. And we started last year with workforce. So it's kind of new to us because I believe as Seek grow and expand and partner with other organizations and entities, that it's important that when they start young, like there's a student now. He's been waiting to get in our program since he was 3, and his sister was in the 6th grade. And so
Mhm.
now he's in our program. It's like, oh, I'm going to be the CEO of Seek. Good, because when I get older, I need you to take the torch. And so
Right.
he's very adamant about that. And even with the older kids, sometimes they don't know what they want to do because they haven't been exposed to it. And
Mhm.
we're experts in where it's not just robotics, but we also do a lot of the science piece too. We do a lot of technology and things of that nature. So I believe all the stages are important, not just a specific age group, which is fine because some people are more of an expert in that age group. But I'm an expert with working with kids from all age groups and finding the pieces that need to fit in those specific age groups.
Mhm. Well,
Agreed.
and the reality is people don't even know what they don't know,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And so you have to make certain, or we have to make certain that we're putting people, creating an environment where they can see things that they didn't know about and how
Mm-hmm.
it can be transformational,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm
Agree.
just excited about this program. And so you have a board and you have all of this. And so you won an award coming to the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference.
I did. And I was like, oh, I made it. Look at God. Won't he do it? Amen. He sure will.
Okay, we're not going to do the little dance in a minute. You go dance right
I know,
here.
I know, I know.
The St. Vitus dance. That's what my mom and them used to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so in the work that you're doing, and how long has your business been
So
together?
Seek's been open for 10 years now.
That's a
This
long time.
started when I was teaching. I would teach because I believed in the mission. Like a lot of times
Mhm.
when we hear things that are free, it looks free. And so I pride myself on finding additional funds, especially when it comes to writing grants. They may have $2,000 for equipment. And I'm like, but you really want them to do STEM. STEM is expensive. The equipment is expensive. Testing out ideas is expensive. And so I pride myself on finding the best of the best for our children. And that's never going to change. No water down STEM.
Mhm. What would you say to parents that your kids are just, getting ready to go to elementary school, or they may be in the primary stage? What are some of the things that parents should be preparing their children for now to be able to function in a place such an organization such as yours?
I would definitely say it starts off with seeking out just local community STEM activities that they can participate. And if they can't, they can always YouTube some ideas at home that are age appropriate. And even if it's not age appropriate, testing out the ability for them to just engage in it. For example, we have 11-year-old kids that are 10-year-olds. They're actually designing in CAD using Autodesk 360, and that program is what is being used to make schematic design for homes, for animation. So you never know what children can do unless you pique their interest. So I would definitely advise parents to look at different resources. There's a lot of things that you can do at home online from YouTube, just testing out those theories, and then try to invest into activities and equipment in the practical world. Because the thing is, if we really want to close the gap and get kids interested at an early age, we have to let them look at it. They need to touch it, because you're going to remember that experience. And so those are some of the things that I would definitely suggest parents, even if the school that they're signing up for, look to see what type of STEM program they have. Because when you go to schools, they may just have only a math teacher or a science teacher, where they really don't have a STEM department where there's the technology, robotics. So you always hear, oh, math and science department, let's meet up. And I was a teacher, so, and it still hasn't really changed. So I would definitely suggest that parents think about, one, the school that they're enrolling their kids in. If they have an actual STEM department, not just science and math, to take their time and find community engagement activities that are free, that are quality programming that they can attend to on Saturday. Like S.E.E.K, we have Saturday programs that parents can engage in. And then 3, look online to find resources that are free, that are quality, and things that you can do in the home. It's just more about taking the additional time outside of their duties as a parent and work, just to, be more invested in that at an early age.
And that is real critical. You really have to get an understanding and take the time to look at it. And if the world is changing to a place where STEM and STEAM are the priorities, that you hear it everywhere. And so what is it that we should be doing at home to be able to change that? Do you have a curriculum that you're using?
So we create our own curriculum, because we understand that kids come at different levels, and we definitely want to meet them where they are. And we also, like, we'll use other people curriculum. So the curriculum we use normally, we take that and use the 5E method approach, where it's engaging, having the students to elaborate. And I'm not going in order. They have the students to engage, let them explore, let them elaborate, and let them get evaluated on information that they have learned. And so we create our own curriculum, and it will be out this year, because we have over 10 years of content that we put together to make STEM and or STEAM reader friendly. Because a lot of times you can look at a textbook and it's just a whole bunch of words, when it can be very concrete. Even though it's an abstract topic or content, you can make it reader friendly. And so we do use diverse curriculums, but we usually kind of construct our own curriculum based on my experience of, working with kids in marginalized communities, or those who are gifted, because I did teach gifted students too.
That's powerful. And so you won this award. Which award did you win
The
again?
community service for STEM, because I do the nonprofit, and I do a lot of community work. We have a lot of partnerships where we partner with Blackstone. We partner, with the Miami Dolphins back in Florida. We partner with the Hard Rock. We work with Microsoft. We work with, we've been awarded by Bumble. We pretty much, we're doing some things in Miami, and we're just taking it global with partnerships. I do believe in partnerships. We can change it, make a shift in education, especially for Black and brown children. I definitely believe in partnership strategically, because you can't work with everybody.
Well, we understand that concept.
So
That's wonderful, though. And so when you were looking at this, where you weren't finding the information that you thought would enhance and help build young people's capabilities, or
Yeah, so when I started with the nonprofit, I was thinking about my own experiences. Even now, the school that I went to as an elementary child is still the same. It's a new building. They don't have a robotics program. They have science and math classes, which most schools do, but they don't have like what their peers that are not of color like them have or has. So my goal is like, how can I find this, and how can I at some point later on in life shift the system where we get more of our children receiving the same resources, even if they live in an environment that does not have that. And so it's just been my own experiences in living in different states where you have children of color. It's still the same thing. They're reading off a paper, writing, and it just drives me bonkers, drives me crazy, because
But
they're so smart.
you needed that bonkers moment to be
Mm-hmm.
able to make the change that you needed to see,
Yes,
right?
yes, ma'am.
This sounds like a program that needs to be deployed nationally, if not internationally.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
It's on our agenda. So agenda, and this year we're supposed to start in Nigeria and Colombia, because my dad's that's his hometown, and it's in my blood. So we'll be working in Nigeria this year. We already started a partnership last year, and uh did I say Colombia? Yeah, Colombia, and then India next year. And so we're working, and hopefully, we'll get those partnerships that believe in the work that we're doing just as much as we believe in the work that they're doing, not just for us, but for the children we're serving, because they're the one that's going to take us to the next level with how the world is changing with technology.
Well, and I think what's really important here is that, if we don't do it ourselves and
Mhm,
create this, I mean, minimally,
mhm,
if you are creating locations and now you're creating the curriculum, so
mhm,
the curriculum can still be deployed
mhm,
for people to adapt to that, for the young
mhm,
people to adapt to the curriculum that's available.
mhm. And I agree with that, because a lot of times people are like, oh my God, I see you have elementary kids building skateboards. And so that's what we do. We teach them the basics on how to make a skateboard.
I love
Now
it.
this summer they'll make the electric skateboards, then they'll make the electric scooters. And it's just about like they see these things, but it's some of these things they're not doing in their school. So to have the curriculum where, and we've been asked that, like, do you all have a curriculum? And it's like, okay, it's about time, Anike. And we've been in talk with Microsoft to see how we can license it, or maybe even another company. But for the most part, once we have that piece, we can give it out, or not give, but you get my drift. So everyone will have access
Yeah,
to
we ain't
it.
giving up nothing now. Wait, hold on a minute.
And we got to be able to be sustainable now.
Mhm,
100 years from now. So
mhm.
we'll make sure that that happens, because our approach is very innovative. We have I mean, we do a lot of things. Like right now, we're ordering the Halo lens. They're 3,500
Mm,
a piece, and we're going to start with
wow.
elementary. We're going to let them, have access to things that they will see in the real world. And a lot of times, because the equipment is expensive, you have like adults or some parents. No, no, don't touch it. Don't do that. Let me do. No, let them do it. If they break it, it's okay. We got insurance. We'll get another one.
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
that's my whole way to eventually, with the curriculum, get it across the nation and international.
You know, Too often we have programs that we can't support in our communities.
Mhm.
Are there in Washington, I heard you say Washington, are there community technology centers in Washington?
Well,
How are our kids getting or able to the internet? That's a big thing for, that's my passion right there.
yeah. So we just started in Washington this year. It's been like 2 years going back and forth with the partnership. So we're actually working with After School All Stars, because we
Mm,
do service them in Miami, and we're looking to eventually, like, we like to come in spaces and work with partnerships, so that we don't just come and say, hey, I'm here, we taking over. I don't believe in doing that. I'm a friendly neighbor. And so at some point we will eventually branch off and start to create those centers, and I'm sure they're here, but I just haven't been able to explore them because I am like, again, this is our first, like this month, literally we start with them, and then from there I'll look to see like who we can partner with and or increase like whatever equipment they may have, or how can we be a part of it to be of service. So the goal at some point, because we're doing our first theme maker space in Miami, Florida, is to eventually go to Atlanta, because we are very active there. We want to run programs there too. And then DC is our third space, and then Texas. So from there, we'll try to partner with people and start building these facilities that are kid friendly, for kids and adults. So right now, I don't know a lot of them, but I do know there's a few that After School All Star works with. And eventually, I welcome partnerships, those who want to give me the education that I need so that I can learn about what's here, and to see how can I partner with these institutions and or other organizations to enhance what they already have, because that's kind of like my expertise. I'm pretty good in that area. And so we've been able to do a lot with the different partners that we have, even with Formula One. Like I never knew they existed, but they found us. They wanted us to implement their largest international STEM program and to get more kids of color there. That's my expertise. So.
Mm-hmm. And so let's share with us, the audience, for the audience, what 3 things that you wish that you had or need.
3 things that I wish that I had or need. I mean, I could try to narrow it down. One of them is always funds, okay? Because funds is a resource, and it can be a resource. Funds and people, those are 2 things. The third one, let me think about it a little bit, but I'll tell you the reason why. I'll say people first. People first, because it's about developing relationships with people. A lot of times people think like, if I connect you with someone, oh, I'm going to get something from them. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to develop your own relationship with people and be okay with whatever the outcome is, especially when you're doing work for the greater good. So building relationships, and which can lead to like funding. I mean, you can go and research and do different ways of funding, because I've done that. When it comes to grants, it's a lot about relationship building, because when people don't know you, they're not going to give you money. It's like a relationship. You got to nurture it. You can't just say, hey, I'm S.E.E.K, I need some money. This is what we do. Okay, that's fine. You and everybody else is doing that. But let's build a relationship. So people first, funding, which is a form of resources that will allow our organization to really close the gap with partnerships. Because again, when I talk about closing the gap, and I'm entering my PhD program to do my research.
All
Hey,
right.
fully funded. Hey, so with closing the gap, when I say must, we must provide kids access to practical STEM equipment that is shown in the real world. Otherwise, giving them giving a middle school student a I would say a bottle of Coke with Mentos in it to shoot it up like it's a rocket. That doesn't close the STEM gap. And so I see a lot of that. Like, that's okay for a 2-year-old, pique their interest. And so that's the second piece, funds, when it comes to making sure that our kids have quality and access to STEM equipment, materials that they will see in the real world. And it's expensive. It's not cheap. And then the third thing would be, like right now we're working on a facility where, because I thought I wanted to open a school, and I've been approved a couple of times to open a school, but there's a lot of restrictions. And so having a community space where kids can come and test out their ideas. As a teacher, when we were able to do away with giving them like all the questions they learned from the school year and doing our own thing for final evaluation, I used the whole 9 weeks, and they did the engineer design process. And they can choose anything they wanted to do that was appropriate, of course. and they had to either improve a product, process, or system, or come up with something new. And when I tell you some of the things these kids made, that's the first time I seen a mobile AC unit made out of a diaper box. Yes, and when I say temporary hair dye, and this was like 10 years ago, temporary hair dye
Wow.
with a marker and conditioner. Another kid had a cell phone with a little small solar thing that he connected to a battery, and you just tap it, it charged. Like, just having a space where kids can come and say, "Ooh, I think I can do this,"
Right.
and they get the
And
opportunity
create.
to create,
That's
because all, like, we have so many gifted children. It's
right.
just
Mhm.
giving them that space. And even with sports, like, they can do it in sports too. Like, when football is STEM,
Right.
basketball is STEM. It has acceleration, it has speed, it has mass, it has force that they can calculate. Do it on the field with them.
Mhm.
So just giving kids the opportunity to be in a space they can go to and test out their different ideas are three things that I wish, and I am working on it.
All right. So, Anika, let me just say this to you. With your energy and that positive personality, those children are in good hands. And you're here now at Bea. Take advantage of being here in this space and meet everybody. Introduce yourself to everybody you see walking down the hall. This is the place that
Yeah.
you will be able to find those people to be able to do all the things that you want to do. It's a STEM conference, right?
I receive, and I thank the Lord. I was like, "Oh Lord, you know what you're doing. Just
Hmm.
fear and
That's
faith."
right. And that's 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
37 years we've been
Mm-hmm.
around, or they've been
Mm-hmm.
around, and that's huge right there.
Yes,
All right, Anika, we're going to look for you. You
I'll be
can't run
here.
away. You know your family now. You're
I
here.
am. I'll
Your
be here.
family. Your
I'll be
family.
here.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much, honey.
Thank you,
Wishing you
Marcia.
all the best. And you
Thank
have my prayers. Yes.
you.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we need to be. Seek Foundation
That's
and getting STEM education to our children so they can also be here at the Black Engineer of the Year Awards Conference and make it happen.